You're listening to All Things Sports with Mike Davis.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Glad you can join me on another podcast of All Things Sports with Mike Davis. I thank you for including my day. Well, not my day, but including my podcast. I thank you for including my podcast into your day or night whenever you choose to listen. Either is fine. But if you are listening on Spotify, please go ahead and follow the podcast. If you're on YouTube, please feel free to subscribe, comment, like, all that good stuff. Go to the Facebook page to get in contact with the show for comments or suggestions. I won't take up much more of your time. Let's get into it. All right, so I wanted to get into the Deshaun Watson and Molly Querim. Querim? Is that how you pronounce her name? But Molly Querim, the First Take debate host of the show on ESPN, she has some things to say about the Deshaun Watson situation. I'm sure everyone has heard by now what Deshaun Watson has going on, who is now facing 14 lawsuits for alleged sexual assault and inappropriate conduct toward female masseuses. Now, the most recent suit was filed on Tuesday and described the star quarterback as a serial predator. Now, Molly Querim said on First Take that I personally, as a woman, would like to hear more from the NFL. The matter is under review. It's simply not enough, said Querim. Now, you need to show us that there's a real process taking place, a real investigation, some transparency, that you take these matters seriously. Are these just talking points, or are these actual resources to address this behavior? Asked Querim. This happened after the NFL failed women with the Ray Rice situation. We have an opportunity to be here to be proactive instead of reactive. Querim believes that the NFL's next step should be to place Watson on the commissioner's exempt list while the league conducts its investigation. She went on to say that Watson needs to lay low, and they need to deal with this. And when and if his name is cleared, then he can return. But when I'm seeing 24 total claims against him, you cannot have this man on a football field right now. Those were Molly Querim's, however you pronounce her last name, words. She's married to Jalen Rose. I'm always weary about women who won't change their last name to their husband's last name. Feminism at its best. I can't stand that show in itself. Molly Querim, I can't take her takes. Stephen A., I can't take his ranting and yelling about everything and everyone that he knows, and he has everyone's phone number in his back pocket. Max Kellerman is just dry to me and tries to fit in with the black narrative or just black people in general. It just rubs me the wrong way. But that being said, my thoughts are, again, someone please take this woman off of First Take and discussing things like this. Now, my problem with her is she wants the NFL to take steps and show women that they're being proactive and saying that this man should not have a job, at least until his name is cleared. I didn't hear much about Chad Wheeler, getting this type of press when he damn near beat his girlfriend to death. No one said anything to this nature about this man. Pretty much people just let it go because I believe he was a free agent coming off of a season with the Seahawks. So a lot of people just let it go. How about you ban that man for life? I mean, he pretty much admitted it. I believe he did. He admitted to doing it. That's facts. So you have a guy here beat his girlfriend half to death. Not half to death, almost beat her to death. The man went on to have dinner at his kitchen table while she laid in a corner somewhere, curled up in a fetal position, dying. And when she wakes up, he says to her, "Oh, I thought you was dead," while he sits there and eats his dinner. And then they tried to blame it on some type of, what is it? It's something mental. They tried to blame it on that. No, get out of here. I think it was bipolar. I think they believe they said he was bipolar. I don't want to hear that. You're an adult. Get out of here with that. Miss me with that. Go somewhere else with that nonsense. You're still an adult. You don't get no excuse for what you did to that woman. That was a black woman at that. Okay, so if you want to be proactive and you want to be, down with the Black Lives Matter and all that movement, that was your chance, Molly Querim, to say something. I didn't hear her say anything to that nature when it came to Chad Wheeler. But Deshaun Watson, where his situation, where there are no facts, there are no facts whatsoever that this man committed any of these crimes. She wants this man to go sit down. There are no facts. This is a he said, she said argument. Now, personally, I think that Deshaun Watson did this? Hell yeah. Look, I'm not laughing. Okay, I shouldn't be laughing. It's like Bill Cosby. The first 2 or 3, I give you a pass. It's mighty convenient that this came out all of a sudden. He wants to go to Houston. Those could be setups. But yeah, when you have that many people coming out, you did at least one of them. One of those happened. One happened, at least one. But that's not up to me to decide and judge what happens with his fate. That is up to the judicial system and whatever deal he works out with these women that are coming forward with complaints against Deshaun Watson. I mean, you have to give the man due process. It is what it is. You got to give him due process. And like I said, it's a he said, she said thing that's going to go to court. There's lawsuits. Now, if you want this man prosecuted, then you need to go talk to your local authority and see what you can do about having this man prosecuted. But it's not the NFL's job to sit up here and babysit and say, oh, well, he maybe did this or didn't do that. There's no evidence, so we're going to suspend him until we have concrete evidence or get a decision on his case. And, after that's done, then we'll move forward. That's not the NFL's job to do that. That's not their job. Chances are, let's just say if that was me in that situation, if I was being sued for sexual assault, accused of sexual assault allegations, and women are suing me, they're not bringing forth any type of criminal complaints as far as I want this man locked up. They're just taking me to court to sue me, okay, for damages. So chances are my job is not going to fire me, even if they find out about it. They're just not going to. It's not a situation where someone has been arrested for anything, because there's no concrete evidence that's out there. So you have to let the case play out. You have to let the evidence come out. I read in one of the complaints, but again, it's alleged. You're innocent until proven guilty. But it seems the case in Molly Querim with a black man, I hate to say it, she's going to stay on cold. With a black man, oh, he's guilty until innocent. But with a white man, with Chad Wheeler, oh, he's innocent until guilty. You can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. If this was Jalen Rose of being accused of this, her husband, wouldn't she want Jalen Rose to have his due process? and not people just come out and say, oh, yeah, he did it. Yeah, he did it. He should be fired and shouldn't have his job and whatever else. I think it's BS. All of it is BS at the end of the day. Look, let the man have his day in court. And then if you want to put him on the commissioner's exempt list, there's nothing going on right now. There's no football being played right now. I think, have they had OTAs? I don't think they have that yet. But, you know, when you're the superstar like Deshaun Watson, those guys don't even show up for that. They won't show up until July. So the Texans, even if they don't trade him or whatever team does trade for him, Watson's not showing up to camp until July. So there's nothing he can do anyway. He's not going to. So putting him on the exempt list now does nothing. It does nothing at all. It means there's no football being played right now. We're in March. You know? So someone please tell Molly Querim to please shut up and tell her to go on about her business and tell her to change her last name to Rose. That bothers me when women marry and they hyphenate their name and they won't change their last name to their husband's last name. Sometimes that tells me who wears the pants in the house. But that's neither here nor there. All right, let me move on to this day in sports. This day in sports, what is today? It is March 24th. This day in sports back in 1975, Muhammad Ali TKOs Chuck Wepner in 15 for the heavyweight boxing title. In 1988, on this day, quarterback Dan Fouts retires. I also want to say, if Dan Fouts is in the Hall of Fame, I know he's in the Hall of Fame, but I'm saying he's in the Hall of Fame. My guy, Matt Ryan, I might be the only guy who likes Matt Ryan, but I do think he needs to move on from the Falcons. Matt Ryan deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. It is what it is. Okay? Go. I understand it's a more pass-happy league now, but still, if Dan Fouts is in, Matt Ryan needs to get in. All right, back in, this was just 2 years ago. 2019, two-time American League MVP Mike Trout signs the biggest contract in North American sports history, a $426.5 million deal, 12-year extension with the LA Angels. Must be nice to have that kind of money coming in. And that's all guaranteed is baseball. So he's going to see all that money. Must be nice. Happy 45th birthday to Peyton Manning. That's all I got for you today, folks. I thank you for including my podcast into your day. If you're listening on Spotify, follow the podcast. If you're on YouTube, subscribe, comment, like, all that good stuff. Go to the Facebook page, get in contact with the show for comments or suggestions. You've been listening to All Things Sports with Mike Davis. And remember, it's your world. I'm just giving my opinion. I'm out. Peace.
You're listening to All Things Sports with Mike Davis.